You give an intro.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. For the video, we are here with Joe. Joe's a good friend of mine and colleague who's been doing Airtable no code stuff as long as I have. And been knowing each other for quite some time now. And today we're going to be building a Airtable solution live. So you can see how we think about certain things, how we tackle certain issues and troubleshooting. And by the end of this call, you will be able to hopefully recreate this solution in your own Airtable base. And let's just kind of see how things go. Joe, any questions or comments you want to make?
No, but I would give the context like how we ended up on this call, right? So originally I'd reach out to you, Cole. We were going to work on LinkedIn. You kind of told me, Joe, I have a system that does this. Let's build this. Let's get it working for you, and we can actually make some content out of it. So that's kind of what we're doing here on this call. So Cole, this is something that you actually use. Like this is the system that you used on your end to actually get to probably over 10,000 followers. I think you have on LinkedIn. So it's a proven system. Um, Cole, you've been gracious enough to share it with me, so I'm gladly going to steal it from you. So, with that being said, Cole's generosity, let's get into it.
Awesome. And this will be a modified version of the system so that it can work entirely within Airtable alone. But the system that I was and currently uses Airtable and make.com.
Mm.
Whereas for this system, we're going to try and keep it as minimal and as
As
all,
native, it's
yes, as
native in
native to
Airtable.
Airtable as we can, because most people watching this are probably just going to want to only stick to Airtable for now, I'd imagine.
Nothing wrong with that, by the
No.
way. So, great. So, let's kind of get into it. What we're building today. So, as kind of Cole said, AI content generation system. This is specifically for LinkedIn. A good strategy, right? When it comes to LinkedIn content writing, there's a few things you can do. But I think Cole and I both agree that a good way to do it it's just news based, right? Media related, niche related, industry related news, making posts about that, right? It's something that's automatable, it's standardized, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on, at least in this kind of build. So, a synced feed to news sources. In our case, we're going to be using Airtable. We're going to sync those entries to our content calendar in Airtable, of course. Automated triggers for this whole thing kind of running, a specific prompt that we're going to use to help make the AI actually write something that's optimized for LinkedIn, good formatting, good style, an approval process, and automated posting. We probably won't actually do automated posting, but it's definitely something that's possible. So really, we were going to use a few tools, but um, I think we're just going to stick with Airtable because it's going to be easier and just efficient. And then we have our prompt, which we will come back to in a second. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is set up our feed, right? And this is something that some people know about, some people don't know about. But if you just go to airtable.com/what's new, the team at Airtable has conveniently made kind of like a newsroom, I guess you would call it.
Almost an interface.
It's probably a shared view, might actually be a shared interface looking
I
at it.
believe it is,
Yeah,
yes.
that's actually exactly what it is. Okay. This is just kind of like I said, a newsroom. They do good with like this art, which is nice. But Cole, we didn't think about this when we were planning, but we could just take the images from here and
Yeah, I thought that's what we were gonna do.
post them. Yeah, let's do that. I wasn't even thinking about that. So cool. So let's kind of get into it. So the first thing, they put this button here, sync this data. This will take you to a shared view.
And then when you say sync this data, what is this actually
Uh,
doing?
this is turning this feed, which is a database that lives in Airtable server, and it's building a fork of it, right? Is that how you would describe it? And then it's
Yep.
syncing it over to wherever we place it. So in my case, that will be my personal, this would be content calendar. Create a synced table that will be kept up to date as this data changes, right? So that's kind of the live feed.
Create a sync table that's basically making sure that anytime Airtable is adding new
Mhm.
stuff or making updates to this data, that is automatically going to sync over to the forked table, correct?
Exactly, versus like copy this data, which would be one time, not synced. Way to go. So let's see what happens. I'm actually curious. We tried this yesterday. Work. Yeah, this is good. Maybe we'll get a cease and desist for using their
Nah.
images. What do you think? No, hopefully
Well, we
not.
can make an automation that slightly edits them.
Yeah, we could. We could also build an automation to respond to their cease and desist with
That
no
too.
thank you. No thank you. And this is, what do you think?
See, I get this sometimes, and I always wonder what causes this. Could it be maybe it's the same base
It's
that's
actually
okay?
here, maybe because I had it open.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, well, I guess for the sake of demo, what just happened to us was this took a little bit to load. We think it's because I already had the Airtable base open, but we can see it's actually here. So I'll close that tab. Maybe we can just put this URL in like the description or whatever, but this is our synced table, right? It's in the base, an existing base. If you want to create a new base, you could, but in this case, we're just going to be working off of the one I already have.
And
So this is
then
great. Go ahead.
for the Airtable updates, that lightning bolt in the base,
Mm,
that's basically signifying that this is coming from somewhere else, correct?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's synced, right? So it's coming from somewhere else. It's automatically synced.
Yep.
I don't know the frequency, Cole. I don't know if you know the frequency with which it should be pretty immediate, but
Oh yeah, I've never had any issues with the frequency being too late.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Neither have I, not specifically. This is
Right.
good. So we have the name, right? This would help us when we're prompting the model to actually write the post, and we have notes. Now, what I'm noticing kind of right now for the first time, okay, well, we always have notes. Usually we have images, which is good. Sometimes we have how to use. So maybe we'll do something with this, maybe we won't. What do you think, Cole? Do you think this is important to use?
I think we'll end up using it because within the automation that we're going to build, we can
Mhm.
allow Airtable to access the internet, give it
That's
a link
true.
to
That's true.
use.
That's a good one. That is a good point. This is why I have Cole. This is why we're doing this together.
All right, here. Well, we kind of got to start here, so maybe we should delete this and rebuild it from scratch here.
You think so?
I think so, yeah, because people might not be super aware why we set it up like this.
Oh, you mean this automation? Okay. I thought you I
Yes.
thought you were talking to me about like
Oh,
the
sorry. No, no,
recording.
no.
Okay.
The automation. The
For
automation.
sure. No, 100%. So this is yeah, let's just delete this. We already have it working or at least built out, but we're going to start from scratch just for the sake of demonstration. So, of course, navigate over to the automations tab, create new automation. We'll call it write post. Okay. And the way we will build this, we have a variety of triggers we could use. First, we were thinking we just use when record is created, but we want to be a little bit more selective potentially on what we're going to write content about. So we're going to do when record enters view, make the table the Airtable updates, and we won't pick the grid view. We'll actually go back and create another field. Let's say, status, something simple. Let's just call it status because I can't think of a better name. Let's say post about, don't post about, post about. Make these just match each other. Okay.
And then how is this status going to be determined or populated?
This will be manual, right? So we'll
Okay.
have a view that's called for posting, right? Because maybe you don't want to post about every single thing. Like some of the
Yep.
stuff might be, too in
True.
the weeds. It's good for developers, but not necessarily, the public on LinkedIn because it might be too nuanced,
Yep.
whatever. So let's put a filter on here. This would be where status equals post about. And then we'll go through and we'll find some good ideas. So the app sandbox, I personally like this one because
I think that's a great one.
yeah, almost every build I do, probably like you, Cole, you have a bunch of views in your div tables. It's called sandbox,
Yep.
you kind of use it just to isolate
Usually I'll name the
fields.
base itself as like Cole Sandbox base until it's
Yeah,
fully, migrated and handed over.
that's also true. Like also at the entire base level, sometimes you do want a sandbox. So this is good. I think this is a good one. Let's say post about. Okay, that's great. Then we go here and we can see
So now that we marked it as post about, that is why it's showing up in the for posting view.
for sure.
That in hand will trigger the automation, correct?
100%. This way it's controlled, right? Because it's a synced table. We want some level of control over when this automation is running. So you really don't want to do it to the main
Mm-hmm.
feed. So great. So when record enters view, okay, let's go ahead and just choose a record. Okay. And when Cole and I were thinking about how to build this, we were contemplating using Make, we were contemplating using field agents, which is kind of another feature of Airtable, if you're not familiar with it. But what he pointed out was we're probably best off doing this with an automation and using this action here. So this is, Cole, do you want to like explain this? Essentially
Yeah.
just built in.
Airtable, within the last 6 months or so, they've added a lot of AI capabilities to their platform. And some of those capabilities include field agents, which is a field that can auto-populate based on certain prompting that you've given it.
Mhm,
Another application is within automations itself. So whenever you're running an automation, you can generate text or images with AI within automations now. So this can be
mhm,
useful for so many things from communications. So like drafting emails, drafting messages, drafting social media posts like we're doing right now.
Hmm.
It can also be good for doing things like I
It's
was
good for
trying,
summarization
yeah, exactly.
too.
Summarization, or for the images, you can, let's say you want to create a bunch of different ad creatives and A/B
Right.
test different things like text, font size, background color, anything like that. You can do that very easily with
Hmm.
Airtable's automation tool within the generate image step.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of a side note, Cole, but on that thought, I actually did see, I was reading somewhere that with an attachment field,
yes,
that for certain things, it's actually more governed or more built out to be for drafts. Do you know anything about this or like versions of something? Do you remember reading that or no?
I believe I know a little bit kind of what you're
Yeah, I don't know
referencing
much
here.
about it either.
Basically, what I know is that you can have in field agent actually reference attachments in the attachment field to
Hmm.
analyze. I did run into a few things with a project that was the client was making newsletter content. Some of it was a little bit more political, and that was
Hmm.
actually one thing that Airtable does have some sort of limits and constraints on. So
Interesting.
things like that you would have to go to make for. That's what we ended up doing for that specific project. But
Hmm.
for things that are non-political, you could do that here.
Yeah. Cool. Jump back into so where are we? We have views hooked up to the automation. What do we need? We need the prompt, right? So, guys, this is the prompt that Cole uses in real time. So it's very much tested. Cole, you've had nothing but
I've
success with this, I
had,
would say.
yep, no complaints with the prompt so far. And obviously, with prompting, you constantly want to be able to update and make changes to your prompts so that they're staying fresh and not constantly rewriting in the same exact style every single time because that gets
Yeah,
old really fast.
for sure.
So
Okay.
we've given it the prompt itself. So the prompt is what will consider the static piece. And then now we need to actually put in the dynamic part, which would be the actual text about the update within Airtable.
Yeah. So sort of system prompt versus user prompt.
Sort of, yeah, but we're kind of all jamming it all into
All
one.
in,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, here in
And
Airtable.
we're also going to change the model so that it will be GPT-5 Nano. It's below,
Okay.
down
Let's
below.
get let's get the inputs in here. So
Oh, true.
let's say,
So like, yeah, like feature name.
yeah, something like that. Let's say feature
Yeah,
here's the post we're going to write. Going to write about, okay, feature title. Okay, and let's say explanation. Okay. Is there anything in Airtable code that you know of? Oh, okay, the bracket does work. Interesting. Do you tend to use that? That's fine.
usually I just do the clicking
Yeah,
the
same.
blue
Yeah, that's typically what I do. But since we're live, I chose to get fancy. Okay. Let's say, what is it?
notes
I chose notes, yeah.
and then maybe attachment or the URL.
Oh, URL. Oh, true, true.
So you can actually give access to your model
Yeah.
to the internet.
Yeah, which is good, right? And maybe it was worth explaining. The reason why we're doing this, we may have already covered this, but within this, the data source that we're using, right? Each of these records gives you, of course, the name of the feature, some other information that we're not really going to worry about here, and then the notes, the main notes, the attachments, and then support. So Access always takes you directly to Airtable documentation, which is good. Um, it's usually pretty much the best source of information that and see if it improves. I don't know if I'll have time, but it'd be interesting to see like a split test of when you give it access to that URL and and the internet versus when you don't give it that. But I don't know if we'll do that
And there
today.
might be a setting where we have to say this is not a required thing. So like let's just say support URL, like and then like in parentheses, like
Hmm.
if present.
Okay. Yeah, it should know that, but right, because it'll just be empty.
Yep. And
Um,
then you want to maybe just test.
yeah, let's see.
All right, so I'll see what kind of posts this generate.
And we haven't actually made it this far before, so this is new to us. Like we haven't actually done this when we were
Well,
preparing for this. I mean,
yes.
you've done it, of course, on your in
When we were
life, but
preparing for this video,
exactly,
we
exactly.
did not plan out or we did not
We didn't actually
pre-build.
run this, yeah. So let's see, this is interesting. Maybe I should blow this up with test fast without breaking a production base. The app sandbox gives you safe space to try, review, and apply changes later. Okay, interesting. You can build, test, refine, dedicated sandbox for your team. So I think it's good. I think it's good from a summary perspective, but
It's
is
yeah.
this readable, Cole, for you?
For me, I think that it doesn't relate to you, Joe, at all.
That's not even sort of my gripe with it. I would say that
To me,
it's
it's
almost
readable,
just a
but it sounds
summary.
like something it is what? I mean, you can prompt it to be very content-y, but it really
Hmm.
comes down to the prompting itself. So
Yeah.
maybe I would just adjust the prompt to be more so like you are writing, you are a ghostwriter for Joe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are
For
writing
LinkedIn.
highly scroll stopping content,
Mm,
like for
yeah.
LinkedIn. Like that. I know it sounds weird, just like
Hmm.
oh, of course it's gonna be like, why even include that?
Yeah. Well, what do you think we do, Cole? I guess.
I think let's go to the very beginning of the prompt.
Do you think that we have to make this like significantly shorter? Like, do you think that we're hitting
Yeah,
something where we're passing in too much context and it's,
sure. Let's just try out, super basic for now.
yeah,
Maybe let's keep the everything after Joe's bio, I would say.
keep
Like
everything after that or before that?
like you want to keep Joe's bio, but then everything after. Okay, yeah,
It's
yeah.
scrappy. So let's just read this what we have. You're a specialized LinkedIn content writer or content generator. Okay, this is true. Blah, blah, blah. Your task transform product into a high-performing LinkedIn post that resonates with Joe's audience. Okay, sure. Bio. Okay.
And then here, can you uh
Just directly prompted about like, writing style. What do you think?
yeah, let's just say I want the writing style to be relatable, speak from the first person, Joe, in parentheses.
Okay. Just speak in first person.
Yep, and then like in parentheses, like as Joe.
Okay.
And let's just see what we get for that.
Make relatable, speak in first person as Joe. Yeah, let's give it a shot. That was pretty quick. Plus, the thing that I'm kind of surprised with is we never actually connected our own API key. This is like, I guess we're getting charged just on the Airtable plan, but
Yep, Airtable has its own credits and different way of charging for stuff.
yeah. But I think this is good. I think, and I've seen people kind of get intimidated just literally just off having to connect their own key and make a key. It's just definitely,
Okay, it's getting a little bit more LinkedIn-y.
yeah, yeah, I can see it's going crazy with the hashtags there.
So a few things I think we want to change is we don't want it to include the link
Hmm.
to Airtable's thing. And
Right.
then also we want the first line. The first line needs to be something that is like so scroll stop, like because App Sandbox, a practical move for team
Yeah, like
building
what
on
does it
Airtable.
mean?
That's so I'm not scrolling for that. I'm not stopping my scrolling for that.
Yeah. I mean, you might, but the average is
Yeah.
likely not going to.
But obviously, we know that that really comes down to the prompting here, I would say.
Hmm.
Or maybe let's try a different model. Let's try 4.1.
True. Interesting. Yeah, I've never used Nano actually.
I just did Nano because it's the cheapest.
Hmm.
Oh, look at that. So that's the input.
Yeah, this is
That's
like actually
way
content
better.
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe Nanos for like utility, like
maybe, yeah.
extract or,
So I think
this
this
sort
is
of
a
thing.
good enough for actually moving forward,
Hmm.
just for
Yeah, I agree. I agree
making the system complete.
for sure.
So AI has generated the tech, and now,
So now let's move on. So we have our response, right? What we can do
yep,
is we want to create a record. And I don't think we really went over this. It's simple, but maybe worth reviewing. So we have our Airtable updates. This is kind of like our news feed, a feed of where we're getting inspiration for content. Ideas could be, the ones you manually input. And you have LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, or any other kind of social you're posting on TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be. For now, we're only going to be worrying about LinkedIn. So table we will create a record in is LinkedIn. Namely, we could probably just put, something like for internal identification, right? So this would be like Airtable features and then input the name of the feature. That's like how I would set it up. And then let's say status is, let's make some statuses actually first. So let's make a status that is, what do you think? Drafted? AI
yeah, I
drafted?
would say awaiting review.
Okay, that's good. You can tell Cole's been doing this a long time. Waiting, review. Let's make that the first one. Writing, these are the ones I kind of use, so I'll leave them, but let's just add approved. And then we could, in theory, you could build like a denied flow, like you
Yep, you
say,
could.
make
Yep,
changes, feed it back in. Yeah.
we're not gonna go full build
Yeah.
today. Maybe on the next call, or if enough people comment on the video, then
Yeah,
we'll know that that's what they want.
that's true. This is true. Okay, let's take our post. So the post will just one-to-one map the result of for the response. There. Images. Cole, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yep,
Just pick the first one, I assume it
you
is.
just
Yeah,
pick the
we should be
same.
able
Yep,
to.
just right there. Boom. Oh, you don't even have to change it.
Does LinkedIn allow two pictures per post?
I see for LinkedIn posting.
Yeah.
If you were to automate the posting, you'd probably want to use the.
I mean,
I
maybe you
believe
would
it
just run a
does.
script to
Yeah,
pick the
I guess
first.
for this particular like system,
Hmm.
we're only really building the content generation side of it, the posting side of it, we're kind of leaving as manual just for demonstration
Mhm.
purposes.
Yeah.
So I
But
think just focusing on the everything up to posting, I think
mm,
is the goal.
yeah. But maybe let's include some info of like how we would do that. So if we were going to post, technically you could probably figure out the LinkedIn API and run a script and do it. Chances are what I would do, Cole, I'm assuming you're probably in the same boat, is just send this record to make
Hmm.
in a webhook, make it's the record. You pick the first image, you post to LinkedIn. That's probably what we would do.
Yep.
But so for now, this is kind of where we're at. So we won't be posting, but this is kind of end to end. We could turn this on. Maybe let's run it, like, right? Let's run
Yeah,
it in real
let's
time.
go to the updates and try marking one of these things as post about.
So let's see. Now we're going to get picky. New appearances. Let's read about this one. Transform how. Interesting. I didn't even know this one. Omni's pretty hot right now, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's do post about. Okay, that
And now
jumps into
let's
our
go to
view.
the LinkedIn.
Well, let's see. Let's see if it ran. Okay, it's in progress. Most likely generating. Okay, boom. Ran successfully. LinkedIn. Boom. This is interesting. Airtable feed awaiting approval. This is our image that we can post directly to LinkedIn. Looks phenomenal. Let's talk about something that's changed the way we work with data. Omni. I wish you could ever just ask your tech to build an app. Then both Cole and I would be out of a job. So hopefully people don't read this one. No, but this is pretty good. This is quite good. So as I was saying in practice, now we would have another automation when status is approved, trigger webhook. Should we go through that call or should we just not
I
even?
think we can save that for the next video, honestly. I think like probably just wrapping it here.
Yeah.
I think the point of this project or call was really just to show people what you can do strictly within Airtable alone.
True. And for me, I'm going to use this. So my LinkedIn game's just going to skyrocket
Exactly.
thanks to Cole's
Everyone
prompt
connect with
here.
Joe right now.
Yeah,
But
before I get too big.
well,
Tough.
Joe, I think we can wrap it up here then.
Sounds good.
So, any final words you would like to give to the viewers?
Nothing from me.
All
Thanks
right,
for
well,
watching.
everyone, thank you for watching. Be sure to check out Joe and his channel. It'll be linked in the description. And if you like more content like this, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more of what you'd like to see. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Cole.